All right, so we're going to talk about how to close more jobs without the headache, right? Every day, if you look at your day, you're probably out there grinding it out on job sites. You're probably missing calls and you're probably falling behind on your quotes. Your inbox just sits there and fills up. Your leads go unanswered. And by the time that you finally follow up, many of those potential leads have actually already moved on to somebody else. And now you're probably thinking, man, I just need to hire a salesperson and this will all go away. But let me save you some frustration and some money. If your sales process is messy today, hiring somebody else will not magically fix it. They'll walk straight into some chaos that's already causing you the headaches, right? Leads are going to slip through the cracks because there's no clear way to actually track them. Follow ups are going to stay inconsistent because interested clients are going to go cold. And then your objections are still going to trip you up, which is going to cost you, profitable deals in the long run. And you'll still end up every day frustrated, overwhelmed, and wondering why nothing has actually changed, right? Hiring a salesperson without a clear sales process in place is like adding fuel to a broken down car. Sure, it's going to cost you something, but you're not going anywhere, right? If you don't solve this underlying issue, your growth is always going to be capped. The truth is, your business is not lacking people, it's lacking a reliable, repeatable sales process. So before you burn through cash hiring somebody new, let's clearly define what scaling your epoxy business really looks like and what your current approach is actually missing, right? And why does this matter and why should you even keep watching? Well, the thing is that I know how it is. You've probably been handed advice from people who never really ran a real business, guys who have never picked up a grinder, never built a team, and definitely has never helped somebody scale past 30K a month, right? Well, that's not me. I do hold a business degree, but more importantly, I've actually built processes that have helped epoxy contractors recover millions of dollars in missed opportunities. So much so that I now even co own a flooring company that started out in Kansas and is now doing installs nationally. I've taken epoxy guys from nothing to having a fully branded business with real authority in their market, right? Automated quote generators that actually work 24/7. I've taken guys from having nothing to having an AI booking process that actually schedules jobs while they're sleeping or while they're on the floors grinding. I've set up Google profiles that help dominate their markets with 5-star reviews, and as well as installed sales processes that automatically follow up, nurture, and close without any of the epoxy owners lifting a finger, right? I've helped them go from chasing leads to actually owning their market, from stressed out installers to respected business owners getting awards, getting BBB accredited, and seeing their name at the top of Google. And these are just some examples here. So I'm show all of this to say that this isn't theory, it's actually results. And there's results you can look at here as well. But if you've been grinding nonstop and you still feel like you're stuck, what I'm about to show you is the reason why you're stuck. And it's also the roadmap out of being stuck. So before you go looking for the next shiny ad strategy or that one great salesperson to save the day, just take a moment to hear me out because the real problem is not your marketing, it's the broken process that you're running it through. Let's go ahead and fix that, right? So build the process first and then you hand it off. Right? That's the core concept here. You need to make sure that you build the process first and then you go to hand it off, right? So why exactly does your sales process need to come first? Right now, you might be thinking that hiring someone to handle your sales will actually fix your problems. But let's just pause there for 1 second. What happens if you hire without having a proven repeatable process in place, right? You're going to lose money as your new hire struggles to actually figure out everything on the fly, right? You're going to burn time up constantly stepping in to fix the mistakes that they make or explain basics again and again, right? And then leads are going to just slip through the cracks because there's no clear playbook to follow for your new salesperson that you hire, right? And on the other hand, when you do have a clear documented sales process, your life gets a lot easier immediately. And the reason why is because you end up having predictability. You'll know exactly what happens at every single step from the first time that they make an inquiry to when the quotes are being sent to when the sale is actually closed, right? There's no surprises, there's no forgetting, there's no confusion, which leads into the consistency. Every single customer is going to get this same exact professional experience, no matter who's running the process, no matter if it's you or if you've hired somebody, if it's your sister, if it's a teenager. If they can follow the process, then everybody is going to be consistent and it's going to be predictable as well, right? And then whenever you do this, you actually end up with efficiency as well. New team members, they're going to get quickly, they're going to get up to speed without the need for constant supervision on your end because the steps are already clearly laid out for them, right? Just think about it. Would you rather hire somebody into chaos or bring them into a clear and very structured environment? So, how do you actually hand off your sales process successfully? Once your process is actually clearly mapped out, handing it off becomes pretty straightforward at that point, right? Here's exactly what that looks like. You're going to have clear SOPs, which you've taken the time to document each step of your sales process, whether that's responding to leads, to sending quotes, or to follow up procedures, right? You're also going to have structured training, which will teach your team exactly how the process works so they know precisely what success actually looks like. And then you'll have built in quality checks as well, right? Which is where you would regularly review the performance during the transition from them being a new employee to like you not having to watch them so much, just to ensure that your process is being followed and that your standards actually stay high. And when you do this right, handing off that sales process, it's not risky at all. It's actually empowering. Your team is going to get clarity. Your customers are going to get consistency, and you are going to get to step away without having to worry if the wheels are going to fall off, right? So you need to build the sales process first, and by doing that, after you do that, then you need to document each step clearly and then confidently hand it off to a trained team. This is how you actually scale your business. This is how real growth in your epoxy business is going to happen, right? This is how like I said, this is how real businesses actually scale. So you've probably heard plenty of talk about growing your business, right? But let's just be clear about one thing. Growth and scalability are not the same thing. Growth means adding resources like hiring more people or working more hours to handle more business. And it sounds good, but it also means more expenses. It means more complexity, and it often means more energy and more headaches, right? Scalability is actually different. It's about creating processes that handle increasing workload smoothly without proportionally increasing your costs or your stress as well, right? Think about it this way. If your workload doubled next month, would you panic or would you feel confident? Would you have to hire immediately or could your existing process handle the surge? Scalable businesses lean heavily on automation. Automated processes mean tasks like lead follow up, scheduling, and quote management that run smoothly, even as your business grows, right? Instead of adding extra hours or extra people to manage all of the leads or all of your quotes or your scheduling, your process could actually do the heavy lifting for you as long as you have that process laid out and then you automate it, right? And when you scale, you're going to increase your revenue faster than you increase your workload. That's how you build a business that actually serves you, not the other way around, where you have to serve the business, right? So, how do you maintain momentum through continuous improvement? Once you have a process and you have everything mapped out and you've got your SOPs and people are moving, your job isn't done just yet. To actually keep scaling, you're going to need to regularly check and improve how things are running and look at, like for this example, your funnel and what your pipeline looks like. Are there any bottlenecks or anything occurring, right? Real businesses stay sharp by regularly auditing their sales processes, okay? They look at what's working, they look at what's not working, and they make adjustments from there. For instance, you might check monthly to see if response times have slipped up or if your quote to close ratio is dropping. These checks help you quickly fix issues before they become costly problems, okay? Feedback loops, regular input from your customers and your team. This also is going to help you keep your processes healthy. By asking your customers simple questions like, how easy was it to get a quote? Or did we respond quickly enough for you? You'll actually uncover opportunities where you can refine your approach and your process. Encouraging your team to also share ideas about where things could maybe run smoother on their end ensures continuous improvement becomes part of your culture inside of your business. The bottom line here is that scalability is not set it and forget it. You need to regularly audit your process, listen carefully to feedback, and keep making incremental improvements. That's how real momentum is built and maintained over the long run. True scalability means handling more business without more headaches, driven by automation rather than constant hustle from you, right? Regular audits and feedback ensure that your processes actually stay sharp, efficient, and ready to support the ongoing growth that's going to be coming your way, right? So, one of the things that you can do to increase this is to actually respond instantly. Slow responses cost you more than you actually realize. And I know that you probably know the feeling, right? You finish a long day at work, only to find missed calls, unread messages, and requests piling up. By the time that you respond, potential clients have already moved on, right? The tough reality of this is that slow responses do actually cost you business. Customers today expect quick, immediate replies, especially in the day of AI, right? Every minute that they wait makes them question if you're a professional or if you're reliable or not, right? Think about it from their perspective. If you reached out to a contractor and they took hours or even days to get back to you, how confident would you feel about hiring them? Would you trust that they'd be on time or attentive to your project, right? Communication doesn't just create frustration, it sends potential clients directly to your competitors who are actually answering faster. So, what does instant responses look like in action? I have an example here, but instant responses are not about you being glued to your phone. It's about setting up a smart automated process that actually handles those immediate replies for you, right? Imagine someone visiting your website and immediately getting an answer to common questions without waiting for you to personally reply. Tools like automated chatbots can instantly confirm that you've received the lead's message and reassure them that help is actually coming. What if the second that somebody submits a quote request, they actually received a personalized text or an email confirming their details? Even if you're busy on the job site, automated follow ups immediately let your clients know that their inquiry is important, which creates that confidence that you're going to be reliable and that you're professional right from the start, right? With these instant response tools, your leads aren't going to end up waiting. They're going to feel valued immediately. And this is going to increase the chances that they're going to choose you over a slower competitor. Quick responses, they're not just nice, they're actually essential in today's day and age. Automating your initial replies through tools like chatbots and automated messaging gives your customers confidence. It prevents lost opportunities and it positions you as a reliable and professional from the start. Instant replies set the stage. But remember, it's just the first step. How you follow up afterward is equally just as critical, right? Have you ever sent out a quote, waited for a reply, and then just nothing pops up, right? You're left wondering why the customer has vanished. And here's the truth though, leads go cold because you stopped warming them up. This happens due to something called lead decay. Simply put, the longer that you wait to reconnect with somebody after they show interest, the less likely they are to become a paying customer. Life gets busy, priorities shift, and people forget. Without consistent follow up, leads are going to slip away, and so does your revenue at that point, right? Think about your own experiences as well. If you were interested in buying something and the seller stopped checking in, would you go and chase them down or would you just move on at that point? Assume that they maybe sold the truck that you were interested in or whatever it was if they're not following up with you, right? Inconsistent follow up, it does cost you opportunities. It sends the signal to your leads that you don't prioritize their business, and leads naturally are going to drift towards competitors who do keep in touch and make them feel more confident. So, how does a follow up machine keep your leads alive in this instance? Imagine this instead. What if you had a reliable process that automatically reminded you or your team to follow up every single time without fail, right? Picture like every single quote you send triggering automatic reminders to follow up with that lead at set intervals like 2, 5, and 7 days later, right? These automatic nudges are going to ensure that no lead gets forgotten about and that you stay top of mind with your customers, right? Think of automatic follow-up messages that still feel personal, emails or a text addressing common concerns or questions. You want to nurture the lead and build trust and stay relevant without being glued to your phone or sounding like a robot. Your follow-ups become part of a process rather than just super random. Your conversions are going to improve dramatically. You're turning missed opportunities into consistent revenue. Leads fade quickly if you don't follow up consistently. A clear automated process ensures that every lead stays warm. It ensures that you're building trust and it ensures that you're going to increase your chances of closing the sale, right? Consistent follow up is crucial, but there's another part of the sales process that you can't overlook. You also need to be able to handle the customer's objections as well. And this is going to be a secret weapon for you, right? And let's just be honest as well. No one likes objections. Hearing, oh, it's too expensive, or I'm not sure if it's the right time, can feel discouraging. But there's a powerful insight here. Objections are not a rejection, they're a sign of interest. Common objections you probably hear as an epoxy contractor include price, like why does it cost so much? I think they're going to be asking, will this really last? Can we schedule this at a later time? Or the other guy quoted me for less, right? And not addressing these objections clearly and confidently is going to cost you money. Customers don't object because they're difficult or they want to argue or they just want to be cheap. They do it because they're uncertain. And when you don't confidently address those questions, they're going to hesitate, and hesitation is going to kill your sales off, right? So, what can you do to build an automated objection handling process? What if you had an automatic ready-made responses that address these concerns head on, right? Imagine a lead receives your quote, you send out a quote, and then automatically gets a follow-up message explaining why your epoxy floors cost more because of the higher quality material and longer lasting results, right? This proactive clarity actually is going to reduce doubts before they even have the time to become a deal breaker for the lead, right? And then picture your team having instant access to clear, tested responses that they can use whenever a customer actually voices concerns. Your team is going to feel way more confident. The customers are going to feel reassured, and your sales are going to increase. Addressing objections clearly and proactively isn't just about making sales easier. It's about removing uncertainty so your customers feel confident in saying yes with you, okay? Objections indicate customer interest, not resistance. Having automated responses and training your team to handle objections confidently turns hesitation into sales and boosts your bottom line at the end of the day as well, right? Handling objections effectively can significantly increase your conversions, but there's one more critical part that many businesses overlook entirely, and it's that you need to track every single lead from quote to close, right? You need to be able to look at your pipeline and see where all of your leads are at, and why losing track of leads is just going to hurt your business in the long run, right? Have you ever lost a sale just because a lead actually ended up slipping through the cracks? It happens more often than you'd like to admit, right? You think that things are under control, but without a clear tracking, important conversations and follow-ups, they're just going to get missed. Every single lead that you lose track of is money left on the table. Visibility, clearly seeing every interaction with a lead is essential. It lets you quickly see who's ready to buy, who's hesitant, and who needs more attention in your pipeline, right? Without that visibility, your pipeline becomes messy and confusing, and potential sales are just going to disappear through that pipeline. And if you don't track your leads closely, you're essentially gambling with your outcome. Okay. Can you afford to keep guessing where your next job is going to be coming from? Imagine that instead you have a clear real time view of every single lead, every interaction, every quote, every single follow up, all in one place, right? So, one way that you do that is through a CRM. And you can think of a CRM process as your central hub, right? It's software that actually tracks every single call, text, email, and quote you send. Instead of you wondering if you followed up, you instantly know what needs to come next, right? The other thing that you get with this is you're going to get clear metrics, right? And those clear metrics will help you measure exactly how well your sales process is performing. Some of these critical numbers to watch are response time, like how quickly are you replying to new leads, your follow-up rate, are all of your leads getting consistent attention after their initial quote, and then what's your conversion rate? How many quotes are becoming paying jobs, right? When you see these metrics, it's going to help you identify weak points and make improvements quickly to your process. Your sales process can become predictable, manageable, and much more profitable. So tracking your leads from initial inquiry through final payment is not optional. It's actually essential for your business, right? You need to implement a clear process to monitor every interaction. And this is going to ensure that you close more deals and stop losing potential income to missed follow ups and just overall confusion, right? So let's try to bring this all together really quick and recap the most powerful mindset shifts that we've covered. One, you need to stop believing that a salesperson alone will solve your problems, and you need to build a robust sales process first, right? You need to understand the importance of instant responses to build immediate customer trust. You need to commit to consistent follow ups to keep leads warm and interested. You need to embrace confident objection handling to remove uncertainty and close more deals. And you need to prioritize tracking every lead interaction clearly from start to finish. Now, the next step is simple. Just take immediate action. You need to begin putting reliable processes and automation in place today, not when things slow down, because they're not going to slow down, right? Strategic processes aren't just tools, they're your path to predictable growth and real freedom in your business. When you rely on clearly documented, automated processes instead of individual effort alone, you'll finally will feel in control of your business again. You're not going to be guessing anymore, and you'll actually be scaling with intentionality. And that's how sustainable, profitable businesses actually end up growing. If you need help putting these in place, feel free to book a call with me at neverstopagency.com.